It seems to be that time of year again when WWE breaks out their checkbooks and says, nope, y'all are done. We are releasing you. We are letting you go. We are not renewing your contracts. Pictured are the people that have currently been notified that they have either been released or contracts are not being renewed. It is us with the Simply Reliable Studios, the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams, being joined by Jeff Meacham, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, DJ from Rock and Ropes, all here to just kind of give our thoughts on things and discuss the talents that have been released. The one talent who was notified that they won't be having their contract renewed. Are there any surprises here? Where do we think they'll end up? Etc., etc., etc. First of all, let's go around the room real quick. DJ, good to hear you. Can't see you.
What
You're
is up?
Avatar man here. May as well call you John Cena, but you know.
Hey, listen, I'm the voice of the voiceless, okay? CM Punk, I'm stealing your gimmick now. But
I
yeah, no,
think I
I'm
would rather
excited.
be I think I would rather be the voice of the voiceless than the voice of the marks, but that's a whole other story.
That was a great one. Listen, all I gotta say is we hurt people now. That's what I'm looking forward to. We hurt people. 'Cause,
Exactly. So how are we doing today? I mean, obviously this is never a fun topic to discuss, but kind of general thoughts before we go into the talent one by one. What are our thoughts here, DJ?
I'm not really shocked that has happened. I don't think anyone should be shocked because this is a normal thing that happens. And especially when you see a lot of people in the IWC reacting, oh, they released such and such. I didn't see you cheering for them on the and any tweet whatsoever. No Blair Davenport tweets, no Good Brother tweets. These are people that weren't being used whatsoever and had no plans for them whatsoever. So it's not like they released. It's not like they just went out of nowhere and released Braun Strowman again or something or Natalia. Like that would be, kind of a big deal. But these ones I don't really see that much, except for the Cedric Alexander one. I'm really excited for that one because they Tony Khan has a chance to get the full Hurt Syndicate back together. And Cedric is a phenomenal worker. He's the type of person you can insert from WWE and AEW and can make an impact. So that's like the really big one I'm looking forward to as far as right now in terms of releases, but I'm not really shocked.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Cedric Alexander was getting a little bit of traction over on NXT. Other than that, I feel like Duke Hudson was the biggest shocker to me because even though Chase U had just recently disbanded, I was curious to see where they were all going to go in their separate roads, but never really got a chance to develop that outside of the falling out of Chase U. In any event, glad to have you on as we go through these. We'll go to Jeff Meacham next, live from the happiest place on earth. Good to
Indeed.
see you, Jeff. What are your
Hap-
general thoughts here, like DJ said?
the happiest workplace on earth is definitely keep me smiling because these releases or non-renewals, I suppose, as well, in Sony's case, um, it's always a bummer when you see people you like or enjoy watching on television get to let go. There's one that upsets me infinitely, and more so because if they're being released, why is their partner like? What's the catch that their partner is not getting the axe yet? I'm curious if that's going to happen before this is all said and done. But yeah, for me, the biggest opportunity to come will be Cedric, no doubt about it. The waiting arms of Lashley, MVP, and Shelton are just still waiting in Jacksonville for Mr. Benjamin. I have a feeling.
Fair enough. Walter, good to see you. Walter over here was the guy in the group chat who was kind enough to just try to private message me that this stuff was happening. And then, of course, we had those people in the group chats that had to put on their Dave Meltzer cap and be the one to try to break the news to everybody. And it's just like, yeah, y'all realize that we're all on the same internet, right?
Hold
Following
on,
more or
real
less the
quick.
same people. Hold on, DJ.
Yep.
Following more or less the same people. And it's like, y'all realize we're reading the same thing, right? And you realize that time zones are a thing. So while y'all are up at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, posting all this stuff, some of us are still sleeping here on the West Coast because, we got to bed at 2 in the morning. And now our chats are going kaping, 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 kaping. Just throwing that out there. What's going on, Walter? Good to see you.
Uh, good. Yeah, I'm gonna steal your line. Good to be seen, but no, it's good to be here. But DJ, you wanted to say something before I go off?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to
Yeah.
take credit. I was the one who broke the Cedric Alexander thing like 5 minutes after Sean Ross Sapp posted it. Or not even Sean Ross Sapp, but Cedric posted the tweet himself, and I was like, holy shit. It was right in the middle of Rock and Ropes last night. And I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
exactly. But
crazy.
I was gonna name drop him because I know a lot of the news has been coming from Fightful Select, but considering that our shtick is the Simply Reliable Studios, the SRS, I didn't want people to think we're trying to hate because
mhm.
there's a decent relationship between a bunch of us within the team and SAP, so I didn't want to come off like
He's
I
my
was
best friend.
trying to. I know he is, DJ. I know. If you were on camera, I'd give you the whole there, pat your head, but I mean, a lot of people think it's a thing where we're like trying to stab at him, and it's not that at all. So I didn't want to make him the name that I threw out there. Everyone wants to be their Sean Ross Sapp in breaking news. That's why I use the Meltzer analogy. But yes, go ahead,
Yeah.
Walter. You were saying.
Yeah, it sucks for talent. We're all advocates for that. We don't want to see people lose their job, but I mean, it's part of the business, and it happens every year, right around the same time, right near WrestleMania. They clear their books, but like I went off on the internet how they're never happy with the whole Jey Uso thing. It's funny
Mhm.
that these releases come out. Nobody gave any of these people two thoughts. They get released and all of a sudden people act like they're their favorite superstars all of a sudden. Where was that support when they were like actually on TV and stuff? Nobody was doing any of this pushback that people are like, I can't believe this person got released and that. Where was your merchandise? Show me someone who's got a Sonya Deville shirt.
Or the
Seriously.
fucking Good Brothers.
Yeah. Like,
Well, to be fair, the Good Brothers were doing okay while AJ was on TV, but when AJ got hurt and got put out with that injury, they kind of suffered without him. Like Mia Yim Meechin was able to do her own thing, but without AJ, they were just kind of lost. And then either Gallows or Anderson, I forget which one of them got injured too. And it's like, well, shit.
I think Anderson was the one that got hurt. Yeah.
Okay, so
Um.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
without putting Gallows back together with Punk, what are we gonna do with him? Seriously.
Bring back Festus.
No.
I'm
No
just kidding.
DJ.
I'm
That's the
kidding. I'm
bad
kidding.
DJ.
Bring back all those fake canes everywhere and make Luke Gallows the leader of the fake cane.
The Mouse Mafia is watching me enough. We don't need to be getting them on YouTube there, DJ. Okay, I'm just saying. Just saying.
but but yeah, nobody was any of these people were not being utilized too well, so I'm not exactly surprised. But the one that kind of gets me is Blair, because she got drafted last year and they did fuck shit with her at all. I feel like they never gave her the chance to blossom. She was like a seed that was planted and they never watered her. Like, what the hell? Like, you can't expect anything to grow if you don't water it. Like, I was like, what are they doing? So, like, they could at least give her the chance, but who knows if this is like a reverse way to save money? Because if any of them get signed to TNA on a cheaper scale, they can still go through the back door, as Raga Rose was saying, back to TNA and still be on WWE TV for a lot less. So it could be a business decision that we're jumping the gun and we don't even realize what they're doing. A lot of them TNA can they can pay for them to still somehow backdoor their way back to NXT. So we don't know.
What
Yeah,
do you Johnny Curtis mean?
that was something that I brought up in the chat when Datilla was live last night with her friend over at bodyslam.net, but he wasn't paying attention to comments, so he didn't really get to bring things up, whatever. But I feel like with these round of releases, everyone's thinking, oh, AEW, AEW, AEW. Tony Khan's going to pick up some new toys to play with for 4 weeks and then send them to catering for 10 months. And while that might be the case with Cedric Alexander, I agree. The Hurt Syndicate, final piece of the puzzle, Tony Khan needs to not touch any of these people. I feel like TNA, to Walter's point, is a better option than maybe it's appeared in the past with the partnership that they have with WWE and seemingly specifically NXT. It could be a way for them to come back home, like Walter said. Go there, reestablish themselves, make a new name, like Dana Brooke has done with Ash by Elegance, like Fandango has with JDC. And then, as those contracts expire, maybe start to come back to WWE because the partnership's there. Nick Nemeth, the Hardy Boys, Mustafa Ali, all examples of people that could eventually be brought back home once they've risen their stocks up with their performances in TNA. So I definitely agree with what Walter was saying, and I think that especially with the women that was released, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, and Isla Dawn, those three need to go to the Knockouts division. Because otherwise, they're just going to be Jobber 322, 23, and 24 for Mercedes Moné. That's it.
Yeah, no, you kind of stole the point from me that I was going to make in a second. That I think the women have more of an advantage of getting like immediate work when their either contracts are up or their 90 days is up. I can see Blair Davenport instantly being in TNA or Sonya Deville. Isla Dawn's the maybe because I think she would have to do like I can see her more going to like a MLW or NWA to kind of reestablish her name before she goes to a TNA or an AEW because I think she's the type of person who just loves to work, doesn't really do it for the paycheck. She does it for the love of the game, and so I can see her going to a smaller promotion that'll give her more reps instead of a TNA where it's going to be still kind of limited because you're getting now this influx of talent from these releases. Now with the men, that's where I think it's going to be tricky. I Like I said, Cedric Alexander is pretty much a made man. He's got MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton all at his beck and call, and they all have Tony's ear right now. So he's going to be there. They're going to find a way to pivot from this Ricochet thing and put Cedric right where he belongs. In terms of Duke Hudson, I think that's another guy who's going to be in the MLW, NWA type of, circuit, trying to rebuild his name and reestablish who he is in wrestling. And who was the other? The Good Brothers. They're almost AEW bound. They're friends with the EVPs. They'll get jobs. I trust me. Thumbs down. I don't want to see the I want to see Carl Anderson, but I do not want to see that tag team anymore. I'm sorry. Carl Anderson can still go. Luke Gallows is done. Like he's as a big man, his career has gone the span it needed to go, and this tag team is not as good as it was 7 years ago. So I think the Good Brothers they're going to get jobs in AEWs because they're friends with the EVPs. But if they don't go to AEW, I'll be shocked. Am I missing anyone in terms of the releases that I didn't say anything about? I think I said everyone. I'm
I
shocked
think
Andrade's not getting released again after the Charlotte news. I'm not gonna lie. Why do you need Andrade now if they're not married anymore? It was a package deal initially. Guess what? The package is now done.
Don't go jinxing him. Don't go jinxing him.
I would
I do
love to
like
see him back in
Andrade.
AAA.
I do like Andrade. I think he's a hell of a talent. I definitely think that with all the luchas that they're getting now with Penta and Dragon Lee, I think that they can eventually utilize Andrade to work programs with those guys and really help elevate them in their style because he knows the style while still being Americanized enough to bring things down for the more casual fans. Um, yeah, to Charles's point, I think AOP is the only one that I'm not really sure what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah, AOP and Paul Ellering. I
Yeah,
forgot about them. Paul Ellering is just
yeah.
probably going to live on a retirement plan.
Well, I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
right.
I think if they go to the NWA, Ellering may still have some work because Billy Corgan
Paul
is
definitely
old
will.
school
Yeah.
enough that he would utilize Paul Ellering much in the same way that God, I'm blanking on the dude's name now that used to run championship.
Marquez.
Yes, David Marquez utilized Paul Bearer.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Percy, Percy. I mean, Percy and Dave were friends before the Hollywood
Right, but
territory
I'm just
really
saying, like,
picked back
if
up. But
he
yeah,
went to the
yeah.
NWA, Billy would utilize Ellering the way that Marquez utilized Percy.
I think so, but I also I mean I've never met Paul Ellering, but I don't know where he would if he would entertain. It depends who Billy offered as a client. Maybe AOP goes with him.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, before I take my turn, since there's no kids around, I don't have my name tag on. Going off Nestor's comment, he was joking, but to the people that are sincerely saying good riddance or being negative to these people online, fuck you all the way off. Like that's just mean spirited to be glad that somebody lost their job or is not getting their job contract renewed. You are a legitimate piece of shit for that if you're actually doing it online or on Twix or whatever. So if you're legitimately doing it, feel free to fuck all the way off. That's just terrible. Just want to get that out there because I saw it a lot this morning and last night while I was in my travels between the hockey game and here. Um, so yeah, I DJ pretty much spoke my spoke my piece, which is good because I'm getting lower on battery and I got to go backstage soon enough anyway. But yeah, Isla's the only one that really upsets me just because I'm such a big fan of Isla. She's just got that look, and she, like you said, today, she just wants to wrestle. She just wants to work. Um, Sonya and Blair, Bea Priestley. Priestley was previously in the Indies. I know she worked GCW, if I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So she won't have any trouble getting work once that clearance is there.
She
Um,
also worked AEW Dark as well.
she did, and Sonia, Daria, you know, Daria has such a interesting history since being on Tough Enough. The whole off camera situation with legal and the stalker and everything. I have a feeling she may just go, all right, deuces, I'm out of here. Okay, bye. And just not deal with this anymore. She's found herself her partner in life. She's happy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time we see her as a wrestler. Just because there's been so much drama as it is, it's like okay, I'm good. See you later. Arlene brings up a valid point, and that's what I'm gonna bring up. If Isla has not been renewed or is being released, what are they going to do with Alba Fire? Or is Alba Fire just the next name we're going to hear before the end of business day today? That's my thought process. They are a team. They have been a team for a while now, especially when they've been tag team champions, and they were the feud that merged the tag titles for the women. So where does one go without the other on the WWE roster? If they let Alba go, okay, then they can be TNA Knockout Tag Team Champions. That's my thought process there. And I'm gonna try. I'm talking rapidly to try to drown out the music behind me so we don't get too copyright because the Esplanade music is the thing. But
I can't
on
hear
the
the
men's
music
side,
on my end, so we should be
okay,
okay.
good. Okay, good. As long as it's not getting picked up, that's good. Because they for your information, Jake, since the entirety of outside of both parks is now strictly Esplanade movement. There's no like specific like downtown music or like everything's Esplanade, so it's the same. I hear it all day. Anyway, as far as the men go, look, I love Carl and Luke, but they are not the guys they were when they were with AJ and just running roughshod over New Japan Pro Wrestling as part of the Bullet Club. They're not those guys anymore. Carl Anderson can go. Absolutely great with DJ. But the two of them together as a team do not have the appeal they did even 10 years ago when AJ, 9 years ago when AJ debuted with the company. So I think the thing with Carl Anderson is JJ and I first saw him as the tag team partner of Joey Ryan. So we know he can go with pretty much anybody. And he's a great wrestler in his own right. Um, yeah, it's just one of those, like you said, Walter, spring or in this case, winter cleaning, pre-WrestleMania cleaning this year, and it's just unfortunate. Cedric will end up in AEW. I can almost just like see the Hurt Syndicate shit on him already. Like there's no reason for him not to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else I didn't touch on just now, so I can pass the baton. Again, Ellering and AOP, they will have a place in like a niche market like the NWA. Billy seems to entertain the old school guys and have a flair for gimmicks of that nature. So I'm surprised if they end up there. Duke Hudson bums me out. Like Duke being released bums me. And I know Chase U isn't a thing, and I know Thea is very upset. And I'm also wondering if she's thinking, damn, am I next? Or is Mr. Chase next? Um, Thea's got that look and she's got youth on her side. She may be okay. I don't see Andre Chase having the same luck. So I wouldn't be surprised if not only Chase U disbanded, but they're dispersed before this is all done. That sucks for those talented individuals there. And um, it's unfortunate their storyline had to be the way to get Rich Holland's life back on track after what happened with E. Um, yeah, I agree with Nestor there. Dan and I were talking about this in between plays last night at the hockey game. Sonya, with all respect to the skills of all three, Sonya had the greatest look of PFC. Zoe
Oh yes.
Zoe Stark Zoe Stark is young. She doesn't look young. And Shayna Baszler is a bad motherfucker, and I ain't speaking out of turn against her because she will find out and she will murder me in my sleep somewhere around this property. It'll be a thing. But where's she going to land that will have the marketing machine to put behind her to make her successful? That is the key. I would sign Shayna Baszler tomorrow if I was still in charge of a women's wrestling company like I was all those years ago. But without the marketing to make her appeal as a balanced fighter, stand out over all the pretty faces that can also fight, she's kind of floundering in the wind. Um, and Zoe has always, for me, the appeal has always been who she's with. She was with Trish. She previously she was in NXT, partnered up with Io, I believe, and then now she's been with Sonya and Shayna. I don't think she does well by herself.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so,
The one place I could think Shayna would go where they could promote her the way she deserves to be promoted, unfortunately, they wouldn't have the money to put behind her marketing wise, but it's GCW because you figure they've
Bloodsport
got the blood
specifically.
sport. Yeah,
Yes.
I
stay
forgot
out of
about
my
that
head,
fight. That's a fair
DJ.
point. No,
Stay out of my
I
head,
forgot about it,
DJ.
so I'm glad he said something.
Yeah, you figure they've got the Josh Barnett Bloodsport stuff, and then when you've got to wait those quarterly Bloodsport shows, she can still do the regular GCW stuff. And hell, they just had a Bloodsport match on a regular GCW card. So it doesn't mean that they can't intermingle it as long as she's not too fucked up from the last one.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's why UFC fighters fight usually like twice a year because they got to recover from their injuries from their last fight.
And Shayna won't mess somebody up. She gives not a single shit.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to throw a question out there about Cedric, a quick hypothetical. Do you think it would be more advantageous to keep him a secret or promote him like a month in advance? Say, hey, the fourth member of the Hurt Syndicate will be here soon. And just don't even say his name, but just tease it. Give the people something to look forward to.
Tease it, tease it.
Yeah, because I have a feeling people are going to be watching the calendar, and once it gets to be like 70 days, 75 days, people are going to be like, okay, well, Cedric is coming any day now. So there's no
Right.
point in trying to keep it a surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it now? February 8th, so March, April, May, double or nothing he debuts.
Dude, get out of my head.
And have him help Bobby Lashley win the world title.
Ooh.
Because
Or
then
yeah,
you can defer him and Shelton as the tag champs, like do what Solo did with Jacob. Just be like, I'm gonna give you the tag belt. You're representing the Hurt Syndicate. You guys will be the tag champs of the Hurt Syndicate. Shelton can work with anyone as a tag team. Him and Cedric were good when they were tag champs, and him and Charlie Haas was a
yeah.
legendary tag team in the Indies.
Oh my God, yeah. I love every bit of Cedric going. He's the one person I hope ends up in AEW. Like everybody else, like they said, I I don't want Tony's mitts anywhere near these people. Absolutely not. And not just because of the creative vacuum I sense between his curly headed ears. Just just TNA will do right by them. I feel, especially the ladies. So anyway, I can't stress enough how awesome it would be. The downside is if we finally get some traction underneath the Death Riders, it'll need to be a monumental story for me to be invested in. Because I do love Lashley and I do like the Hurt Syndicate, but it's got to be a monumental thing. If they finally get the Death Riders on the tracks, the Hurt Syndicate's got to do something major to make it believable that they're going to be the ones to halt this march, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, and I love Lashley, but dude is 48 years old, pushing 50. Him as the world champion ain't going to do anything to help the all elderly wrestling comments that MJF was making.
Yes and
I
no.
missed that.
Again,
No, no,
we
no,
we can't.
DJ. DJ, there's no yes and no. You put a world
Yes,
title on an
listen.
almost 50-year-old dude.
He's not your average 50-year-old. He still looks like he's from 2002.
This
I
is
give
valid
you
as hell.
that. I
He's
give you that.
2002 Bobby Lashley in 2025. I'm giving him the belt no matter what.
Look,
I'm
I
sorry.
give you that. He's a physical specimen, and we all know black don't crack. But it doesn't help the argument MJF was making. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Lashley doesn't look good. I'm not saying Lashley couldn't carry it. But putting the title on a 50-year-old man doesn't help the argument when you've got guys like MJF, when you've got guys like Darby Allin, when you've got guys like Sammy Guevara, when you've got guys like Wheeler Yuta,
JJ, you know
all
what my
guys that
immediate
are a
response to
lot
that?
younger, Will Ospreay, dudes that are at least 20 years younger that should be being built as the future of professional wrestling.
I understand that. And if my response to any of those guys, if I gave Lashley the belt, okay, go in the ring and take it off of him since he's
I
so
was gonna
old.
say, let's have Max say the all elderly wrestling comment to Lashley's face and watch how far
To
Max
his
can
face and
keep
have him settle it
yeah.
in a shoot match. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Have him
Yep.
have MJF try to take down that old ass man in the ring. See what
Yeah.
happens. He'll be
Yeah.
bent like a
Yeah.
pretzel.
I love me some Jeff Jarrett, but Jeff Jarrett is no Bobby Lashley.
I think Bobby Lashley is the one exception to that rule, just because again he's such a physical specimen. And that's like saying, looking at LeBron James and saying, "Look at you, Grandpa." LeBron James is still dominating the NBA at 40 and 22 years in.
Yep. I have zero negative things to say about LeBron James's on court activity at this point. The dude is a stud when he has no damn reason to be. So Lashley's the same way. Lashley has been actively involved in fighting or wrestling since 2006, if you count when he came up to the WWE main roster. I have zero problem with him as the world champion, or at least in the hunt for it in AEW. If they're going to have a guy with that amount of talent at his age, you figure people were cracking on Chris Jericho when he was the world champion. They cracked on him more once he lost it and started getting in that Jericho cruise shape. Okay. Lashley ain't going to get in that cruise shape. He'd be all right. So I am here for that. But as I said to a friend of mine, I was texting last night, as great as a match that Lashley and Moxley could have, if the story's not there between the two of them and the Death Riders and the Hurt Syndicate, I'm not interested. It has to be, the story's got to be there for me. I'm not sitting here judging things on a Meltzer scale. I'm judging things as a wrestling fan.
Agreed. And that's something that AEW has problems with that we've discussed ad nauseum in the spaces, right, DJ?
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. I bitch about Tony enough in Rock and Ropes. Trust me. I could have a whole like probably 8 hour omnibus of me just downplaying all of Tony's bad decisions.
This is also why we're doing this now and not during the shenanigans night, because shenanigans is going to be fun and TV themes karaoke, and that's what they're going to focus on. Since my butt can't be there, and I'm so bummed I can't be there for that.
Oh, karaoke night. I forgot. Oh shit.
Yep.
Something. Something.
No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no,
I,
no.
I had to
That
do it
No,
for
no,
not
Noah.
no,
that
I
no,
had to
no,
thing.
do
no,
it
Not
for
that
no.
Noah.
thing. Damn it! Not that
No, no,
thing.
no. The new trigger word for James now is condescending. Okay, it's
Right?
no longer
Yes,
something.
this is valid. Yeah, no, the TV themes karaoke would be fun. I'm just going to be smack dab middle of my shift, and it's like, oh, bummer, because TV themes I can rock even with half the voice that I'm rocking right now. So, oh well. Anyway,
So I feel like we spent a lot of time on Cedric Alexander.
Sorry.
No, no, no. It's fine. Let's just move on to some of the other talents. Let's talk about Isla Dawn for a little bit. It was mentioned the concern Isla Dawn being released. What about Alba Fire? You got to remember, Alba Fire was an NXT UK champion. Isla Dawn never was. You know, Alba Fire, I think they've seen singles star in. They just paired her with Isla to try to get Isla over. And it
and it worked.
worked. It worked big time. But I'm not trying to degrade Isla because I love her. But I think they looked at her more of just sex appeal than wrestler. Because you look at the way she would be presented herself, you think about the outfits she would wear as opposed to Alba Fire. And it just seemed to me like they were always trying to bill her as the sexy one. The one to get the prepubescent teens to come to the show. And Alba was the worker. She did the heavy lifting.
It was a valid marketing tool and it worked because they got the 41-year-olds to go watch the shows too.
Again, there's reasons I love Isla. Not trying to downplay it, but
Yeah,
in
she
comparison,
is.
it's like Bianca and Jade. I'm not saying Bianca's not attractive because Alba's attractive as well, but they're the workers. Jade and Isla are the look, the sex appeal. You know, it almost makes me wonder about Jade because she was taken out and we haven't seen her yet. There's been nothing to further the storyline. Oh, I have no leads. Could they just end up releasing her, writing the whole
Oh
thing
no
off, and that was
way.
how they get rid of her?
Oh hell no, no, no.
Oh
There's too
god,
It,
big of
no.
an
I
it's
investment
a
there.
thought. It's a thought. I don't want it to happen. Y'all know I don't want it to happen, but they've invested over a year with her,
yeah.
and while she's progressed, has she progressed to their level, to where they think she should be? Is she proving to be worth the investment, or is she not?
I think they're just milking this her being off to make it something when they finally flip Naomi switch because we've been calling for that for a year.
True.
Yeah, no, I agree with. I was gonna say Jeff took the words out of my mouth. I don't. I think they're just milking it and milking it for as much as possible. If they don't do anything by Chamber the latest and try to get it kickstarted for at least that month going into Mania, then we can start having that conversation. But I think they're just milking it for now. Bianca already just qualified for the Chamber. I think they're gonna do a big female angle in the Chamber. Jade returning might be it. So let's see how they build up the rest of these contestants first, because the only two confirmed right now are Liv, Alexa Bliss, and Bianca. We still have three more spots
Yep.
and a lot more story to tell. So I agree with your sentiments, though. I think WWE are asking those questions, but I don't think they're going to act on it anytime soon yet because they're still trying to attract AEW big names. They still want MJF in a year when his contract's up. They want they want Swerve, they want a chance to probably talk Swerve into getting out of his contract. Stuff like that. They still want to attract
Starks.
those big
Yeah.
names. Starks too. Give him the appeal. Shit, even Big Bill. They may want Big Bill and Enzo to come back after they saw him on the Jericho cruise.
I was gonna say, dude, those two lit the cruise up. Even I was popping, and Jay
That was
knows
the
I
best
was not
moment
a
of the cruise.
fan. Yeah, I was not a fan of the shtick. I'm in the minority. Full on admit it, whatever. But man, I was with it when they showed the clip from the cruise. And yeah, by the way, Ricky Starks, new Defy champion. Happy for my boy Ricky Starks. So, hell, Tony don't want to use him. He's in playing championships. He'll be all right.
Right.
But
But
back to Isla Dawn, real quick. I just wanted to bring it back to her. I see a lot of potential for her future in the next couple years working the indies. I think she can get
Yes.
a really big name. And if anything, if Tony was smart, I'd bring her in just to dethrone Athena because you missed the Billy Starks thing twice already. That moment's way too, at least to me, that moment's past.
no,
So
no,
I, it's just that's just me. I know
no.
it's just me.
Dawn
Please,
screams
God,
TNA.
please, God, keep these women the fuck away from Tony Khan.
Yeah, she screams
Every
TNA though. Look at
single
that.
one of them.
If they were to put any of them in Ring of Honor, that would be the pass for me because that way they're not having to go up against Mercedes.
Exactly. And there's actually some good talent on Ring of Honor that don't get
Yeah,
used
there
or
is.
seen like a lot.
Yeah, there
Red
is.
Velvet, she's improved a lot. Mercedes Martinez is still down there. Athena, Billy
Aminata's not
Starks.
on. Yeah, Aminata's on AWTV all the time. So yeah, there's a good pool of ROH centric women that don't always appear on AWTV. They don't have to put Isla on there, and like you said, they've now done the Billy. God, I was for saying her name wrong. Billy Starks, Billy
Yep,
Sparks,
Billy Starks.
Billy Starks match twice at the same show, back to back years. They have to do something with Athena. She can't just fabulous move and be champion for 56 years. It doesn't work, man. Like they got to do something. Um, Isla could be a great way to, you know what? Um, Bea Priestley, Blair Davenport would be a tremendous way to go. Only because she's always or primarily been a independent talent, just happened to get signed and worked in NXT and WWE for a little while. But I always picture her more as the indie person more than the WWE person. So she would be a good Ring of Honor addition if anybody. I personally I don't want any of them to go work solely for AEW. If they sign a contract with Tony Khan and they're primarily Ring of Honor, I can maybe hold my breath and see what happens. But
I
AEW
agree.
only, forget it.
I agree with JJ. I don't want any other women anywhere near Tony because eventually, whether they're ROH, whatever, he'll find a way to feed him to Mercedes. I'm telling you.
Yeah, wait until Mercedes that he feeds Athena to Mercedes next. I feel like honestly, without any
Oh
new talent
God.
coming in, I think that's where they're going because they didn't give it to Billy Starks. Billy Starks, like I said, that was the moment. That was the time to pull that trigger, and
Yep.
Tony didn't do it. There's a
Especially year
reason
Unfortunately,
for
two.
that.
Unfortunately, I completely agree. Allin is in Texas, Athena is from Texas, and Mercedes takes the title from Athena. Mercedes 5 belts.
All right, I'm telling you right now, if that happens, I'm going to take part of my Disney checks and we'll start planning the memorial service for Ring of Honor because that's it. That's it.
And then she'll find
It,
a way to fight Tony Storm and get that belt too.
wait, wasn't it rumored that she's fighting Megan Bayne for the HOG World Title?
Could
Because
be, but
she's doing a day at HOG, and Megan Bayne is the women's champion there.
and she just got the All Elite banner, so maybe.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking in order to keep that relationship still there so Tony can foster talent, not foster, but, get talent from somewhere.
I realized I had producer control. Sorry, Jay, my bad.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I knew she was going to House of Glory, but I didn't know she was fighting Megan Bayne. I hadn't heard a match announcement yet.
No, 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 there's no match announcement. It's just that's what's been rumored.
Got you.
Yeah. I also am genuinely curious. I know we're supposed to talk about releases, but where they go with Harley and Mercedes, they're probably just going to have Harley job out. But the program is funnier than hell so far. I think anyway. I think it's
Harley's
great.
made that program. Yeah, Harley's
He
made that
has
whole thing. I
Renee's
yeah.
reactions in the interviews are just as glorious.
Oh yeah.
And it's just
Like
like
I
I'm
said,
just trying to do my job here.
I've said for like the past 3 weeks, Harley Cameron and the Hurt Syndicate are the best thing on AEW television right now. Harley Cameron is the Chelsea Green of AEW. She can just turn anything into gold. Anything. They give her a mop, just go out there and get this mop over. She'll get the mop over.
Yeah,
She'll give that mop a voice.
yeah, exactly. She gave a puppet a voice. But yeah, with the releases, trying to go back because I'm getting short on time again. Like I said, um, Duke's the bummer for me as far as the males go, just because I still think there was unlocked potential with Duke Hudson. And like I said, Jay, I worry about the rest of Chase U. Somebody mentioned Riley Osborne in the chat too. Like they haven't used any of those people since the dissolving of Chase U. So
Yeah,
I just
Andre
I just
Chase has
fear
appeared on TV a couple of times since they broke up, but I haven't seen Thea, I hadn't seen Duke, and I hadn't seen Riley.
I know they're working like the house shows or like live events type stuff, but that's few and far between now. They're cutting back on those across the board in WWE. So for me, Duke's the bummer, Isla's the bummer, um, and and Duke and AOP and Paul are the only ones I worry about. Like they're not going to land really anywhere. And I think Sonya will purposely choose to be done with wrestling. That was my point I made earlier. So yeah, I've made my points. I've said my piece, and I will gladly my mic and let everybody else spiel because I've been babbling too much.
You don't think, one second, Walter, you don't think there's a possibility of Fire and Desire reuniting?
Um, that really depends on if Mandy gets back into wrestling full time. Right now it seems like she's just kind of like whatever about the business. Although she did manage to chirp in about Tiffany stealing her catchphrase. It's like, are you wrestling? Are you going to be doing anything with WWE or anything with wrestling anytime soon? Why mention it unless she knows something we don't, or unless she's trying to justifiably get attention on herself? Because I'm sure the influx of subscriptions is not exactly going at a breakneck pace like it was a year ago. I don't know. I don't subscribe to her page. I don't know what the subscriber count is. But if she's still involved in wrestling, then sure. Um, but again, Darius had so many stutter steps and real life drama as a result of wrestling. If I'm her, my thought process is get in the car with my partner and drive as far away from it as humanly possible.
Go ahead, Walter. You had your hand up.
Um, so taking it back to Duke, um, it hurts, but I'm not gonna lie. I won't say I'm surprised because what was JJ and mine's main argument when when Chasey was going for that like if they don't win the tag team or they break up, our main argument was, what do you do with them once they break up? It's like we really don't see any of them making the main roster. We kept saying it. JJ and I kept verbatim said that. So now that he's released, like it kind of justifies what we were saying. And now look at everybody else in the group. They're kind of lost. Like Chase popped up what 2 3 times, but they're really not doing anything. They're not doing anything with anybody. So it's like I'm a little nervous about the rest of them too. It's like, but shocked isn't really, we can't say shocked because we kind of saw it
Yeah,
coming.
no,
It's sad, but we knew it. We
yeah, I'm
all said
bummed.
it. We all kept saying like, what would they do if they broke up? And then they did the breakup angle. And once they did that, we all kind of knew, oh crap, some stuff might happen. Like we kind of
Yeah,
saw this coming.
I feel bad because I had said that Chase U was not a main roster translatable stable, and I didn't want it to be a thing, but I just didn't see that working well outside of the studio wrestling style setup.
Yeah, I mean, Duke is somebody I could have seen maybe climb the ranks within NXT coming off of the Chase U dissolving. But as far as main roster, you're right. I never saw him as anything except maybe a tag team guy on the main roster, unfortunately. The big guy link up with the small guy, do the Diesel Michaels shtick, you know, the enforcer power guy with the small guy. But I don't know. I could have seen Duke as the North American champion. Maybe take the title off of Tony D in an effort to try to legitimize Chase U and kind of show that Andre Chase's teachings amounted to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it would have been a great way to keep that story alive. And but I don't, like I said, with them breaking up, the obviously what else could you do with it following up with any of them? Like as much as Andre Chase got that gimmick over as a solo doesn't really intrigue me. Thea Hale, I think, is the only safe one around because she has a look and she can cut a promo. She needs to just get more comfortable in the ring and get more reps. And I think they're going to be working with her a little more now. Duke Hudson, he could have been in the North American Championship picture, but I don't know. I just between like Rich Holland, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, I can't really see him going over any of those guys at the moment. Those are guys who are prominently featured in NXT. So it's really hard to say he could have been the one to dethrone Tony D'Angelo. Then what next? You know what I mean? I don't think people would really take him as seriously as that high mid Carter yet because he didn't really go through anyone. Just I'm just gonna get a random match with Tony D and become the next North American champion over everybody who's already put in the work above me. So, but I also think like I said, I think if he goes to like an NWA or an MLW, he can find a new gimmick, get that gimmick over, and maybe go to TNA after. Because again, the TNA men's division isn't really getting much better either because WWE is going to start taking who they want. They're going to start teasing Moose with and for a good time. They're going to tell Dolph Ziggler, "Hey, we miss you. We want you to come back and have one final run before we put you in the Hall of Fame." Joe Hendry is pretty much the number one guy on that their eyeballs are on at the moment. They know he's money. They see Jay Uso 2.0 with Joe Hendry, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
so like and then like I said with the women, B Priestley, I think she's going to be the quickest one to get work because she built that name on the independents. Again, she already has that relationship with Tony and AEW. If she wants to go back there, she'll go back. But if she doesn't want to, I could see a TNA offering some money to be a knockout. And Isla, same as well. She could be a knockout too. I just think it would benefit her more going to an NWA or MLW where she can constantly get those reps. And I don't think she needs TV time right now. I think she just needs reps, own her craft, find a gimmick, or not even a gimmick, but just find something that gets attention back on her and gets interest back in her. And then, like I said, the Good Brothers, I really don't give a shit about. I think Luke Gallows is done. They're an overrated, overpaid, overhyped tag team. Carl Anderson can still go. And yeah,
I'm sorry.
those are lovely pictures. Just randomly.
No, I'm trying to load stuff in for when I have to bounce out because I have a very serious thing to promote, and I'm just not my phone's acting enough. I apologize, JD. I know we're trying to talk about something serious on the wrestling side. I apologize.
It's okay. Go ahead, DJ. You were still saying?
And no, all I was pretty much saying is Good Brothers, yeah. AOP, I think they've had enough chances everywhere, and they just haven't really got over like how they initially did in their first NXT run. I think I think they're going to be ones who are going to
Yeah,
just like, I'm out. We tried enough at this wrestling thing. We're obviously not that good at it. We're just going to bow out while we still can. Good brother, like I said, I see the Good Brothers getting work before AOP. Paul Ellering, if he wants to work, he can, but I think he's going to retire off the paychecks WWE was paying him.
Yeah, I don't think Paul Ellering really ever needed the money to come back in the first place. He's probably set from all his LOD days, but and the
right.
residuals from that shit.
Yeah.
But
Royalties are a beautiful thing from the '80s wrestling.
Good Brothers, I don't know. Do we think maybe they go back to New Japan and get reinserted with the newest incarnation of the Bullet Club? Kind of like the OGs coming home?
Only if
No,
they take less money.
yeah, I was gonna say I kind of agree with TJ. Like I think their time is done. Like, when you have to remember when AJ came into the Bullet Club is when Finn Balor was leaving the Bullet Club, and they did a whole big thing on the new lion, literally guzzling the old line on the way out. They did the same thing with AJ when they and with Nakamura. Like it's you know the Bullet Club and New Japan overall don't tend to dwell long on guys that are long since past their shelf life, because they have a lot of talent over there too. I mean, yes, they're making a really big deal, as they should, about the end of the Ace's career, but you know it's I don't see them generating enough of a buzz long term to warrant New Japan showing that money out for them to come back. I And again, you don't ever hear from those guys on social media about not getting news. I really don't think they're going to have that much of a gripe. I think they're just going to be like, okay, it is what it is. If we happen to get an indie date here, a random, thing here, and yeah, they are friends with Matt and Nick. I mean, that's documented. They were all part of the Bullet Club back in Japan, and they work together in other companies too. So yes, that is a possibility. It's not one I'm willing to be okay with entertaining. I don't want to. You almost come back to TV themselves, let alone have more people with them. Like no. So, but I like Carl and I like Luke. So it's one of those catch 22s. Like I want them to work. I want my longtime associates to be happy, but I don't want them in AEW mixing them with Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. I'm good.
Like I said initially, I think Carl Anderson still can go and has a lot to contribute to wrestling. He can be a
Yeah.
great upper mid carder, and even you can steal a main event with him. It's Luke Gallows that's the issue. He can't really move that
Mhm.
much. He's not a great talker at this point in his career. And if you keep them together as a tag team, they're not really that much of attraction anymore. There are better other the tag team game has just passed them in terms of the style that everyone
Yes.
else is implementing.
What about them going to the NWA? Do you think they would be able to have a shelf life down there? Obviously, they wouldn't get paid as much as they would in TNA or even New Japan, but NWA's got guys like Knox and Murdoch. who are a established tag team over there. They might even still be the tag champions. It's been a minute since I've watched to know if they lost them or not, but Knox and Murdoch versus the Good Brothers, or even have them separate and maybe have Gallows join them as a stable to make them a trio. That way Anderson can be free to do whatever else that he wants to do.
My only retort to that would be, would they get more over down there? I don't think so. I think if they go down there, they're going to be just as over as they are, and they're going to get slightly diminishing the more you see them. I don't see them coming in and making an immediate, they'll make an impact when they get down there because they're still the Good Brothers. They have the name. I just don't think they'll be a good long term investment.
Let's just remember, DJ, this is the same company that put the championship onto fucking Brodus Clay for a year.
You're right. I should shut up. I
And
should
then
shut up.
They,
and
they
then
also they also still employ Pirate Paul Burchill.
It's Billy Corgan booking this shit. Why am I even questioning this? You're right, probably.
Paul Burchill is a thing in the NWA.
You didn't know
Paul
that?
Burchill,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
not
Paul
Paul,
Burchill.
just Burchill.
Wow. Good
Mhm.
on Paul for getting a booking, man. Hell, why not? Jeez.
They
That's
can
great.
fit
Good
there.
for
They
good for
can
Paul
also fit
Burchill.
New
That's
Japan, like you said, if they take less money. But
well,
And if we're being honest, going back to the Isla Dawn thing, since the NWA just kind of came back up, there's a bunch of women that I would love to see Isla mix it up with in the NWA, probably more than I could name for TNA even.
this is
You
yeah,
know,
valid also.
Isla versus Kylie or Kenzie Page, Isla versus Tiffany Nieves, Isla versus Hollywood Haley J, Isla versus La Rosa Negra. There's some solid women down there in that NWA women's division, and they only wrestle like 3 times a month. They
The
have like
only
a
issue,
TNA schedule.
the only issue is Jay, if they put Isla versus Natalia Markova, the screens will melt or explode.
This is accurate. James would not know what to do with himself.
me neither.
He would short
Especially with
circuit.
Natalia, especially with Natalia Markova being the new Oceanic champion and planning
Yes.
a full-on bikini photo shoot with that. Like her and Isla going against each other, like talk about internet breaking down. Like, no.
Hmm.
But at the same time, yes. But at the same time, no. Anyway, I unfortunately do need to go. I realized how low my battery was, and my charger is way over. So very quickly, I unfortunately have to bring it down just a smidge here. On the way to the hockey game last night, I received the news that one of our longtime friends on the ice crew, back in the ice crew days, Gabby, pictured here with JJ, 3 different games. I love you got the Ice Dogs jersey in one of the pictures, by the way. That is solid.
That
Tremendous.
was my
Nicely done,
first
sir.
game.
That was your first. Wait, no, no, no. No, because
Yeah,
she's wearing the.
that was my
Okay.
first game.
I guess they were still wearing the older uniforms as alternates. Anyway, yeah, that's awesome, though. That's the Ice Dog picture. And then, of course, this is her and our buddy Ashley with Dylan. God, look at Dylan. Good grief. But since then, she has gone on to have herself a little family. She just had a little one about 6 months ago, I believe it was. And her and her hubby have built an amazing little family, the two of them, with their 3 adorable kids. And as I was saying, I unfortunately found out last night with the hockey game that she is now dealing with stage 4 colon cancer. That's also spread to her liver. It sucks. So I am please encouraging everybody to follow the link at the bottom here on GoFundMe. They're at 73% of what they set up for the goal, and it's been less than a month since they found out. So everybody in the Kings is involved in this. Carlin tweeted about it earlier in the month. I just didn't know, and then the Kings themselves, the actual Kings social media, put it out there yesterday. So we all love Gabby. She's a sweetheart of a lady, and I can't even imagine those three little ones and her husband, God bless her husband, just having to deal with this. So the GoFundMe set up for, just little things like, making sure the kids, still get to enjoy the simple things in life, whatever happens. So I please, I, we'll shill, we'll plug. I'm begging everybody, please go on there and support whatever you can, and try to get Gabby and her family through this. This is just it's cancer's non discriminatory, and unfortunately, it always seems to get the good ones. I hate it. So please get on there and help out how you can. I won't be able to do the video here like I thought. I just ran out of time. So that's my show for it. So if you want to like throw that in there during the shenanigans tonight, I'd appreciate it. If not, if you can't, then I'll try to do it on the review on Tuesday. But yeah, that's it for me. Enjoy the karaoke tonight, fellas. I know it's going to be fun. I'm bummed I can't be there. And yeah, I'll see you guys when I can. I'll be on the Nuke review Tuesday. So if not before then, I will see you then.
All right, you have a good one, Jeff. And I just also want to say, fuck cancer.
Right.
Exactly.
Lord, help me.
So someone who we haven't really talked about a lot in all this is Giovanni Vinci.
Oh
He
shit, I
was
forgot about him too.
he was another name that was listed. Um, really not a surprise to me. I liked Giovanni Vinci. I liked him in Imperium with Ludwig Kaiser. But at the same time, once he tried to make a pass at Tiffany Stratton, which is Kaiser's woman, he was pretty much dead on arrival after that.
Yeah. Two quick pinfall losses when you just reinvented your character didn't help either.
Well, that's why he had those quick
Yeah,
pinfall losses,
I
was
know.
punishment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of the guy, and I always just felt like he was the extra guy because I can't remember who the other guy was in Imperium that got released, but I always felt like Vinci was the extra, like just the extra of the group. There was nothing really. He had the physique and look, but everything else, he was just there in the group. I always saw Kaiser being, that over the top showboaty personality that, he's Gunther's stooge. That like you could tell Kaiser is just purely a stooge. So when they broke up, I saw that kind of told me what WWE was thinking about the guy. Like they weren't really taking him. They didn't really see the fit. I never knew about the Tiffany Stratton thing until you guys mentioned it. That makes way more sense now.
Yeah,
I just thought they got soured.
Kaiser and Stratton have been together for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to when she was the NXT Women's Champion, I think they were together, and he was already on the main roster. And then she got drafted and, brought to the main roster, and they were kept separate for, to my knowledge, they're the only couple that aren't on the same show as of right now.
I think so.
But I don't know if maybe there was rumors that there was issues and that's why they were on separate shows. But Vinci decided to make a go at it, and that's part of why the team broke up in the first place, was because Kaiser couldn't trust Vinci. So that just comes down to baby mama drama when it comes right down to it. No, there's no kids involved, but that's just the humorous way to put it, relationship drama.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I never knew that. So just it makes so much more sense now why he got the treatment he got
He
and
thought it
why Kaiser was the one to beat the fuck out of him on television. And it looked stiff as hell when he was doing it.
he thought it was Tiffy time and it ended up being release time for him. That's messed up. Like,
It was Vinci time with Tiffy time.
right?
Yeah. Honestly, with him, I don't. Yeah, I can see him going. He's another guy I can see going to one of these smaller indie promote. He has a look. He needs to learn how to talk though. He needs to learn how to cut a promo, and he needs how would Jr. and Vince say it to? I can't remember the exact phrase now. I had it on the tip of my tongue. Something to hang your hat
Blasphemy.
on. There we go. No, something
Uh,
to hang your hat on.
uh,
Like he needs to find that thing where people know him for that thing. I'm not saying go out and do the Joey Ryan Dick spot, but do something to get some attention on you.
Damn, you brought up Joey Ryan.
I listen. That's the only. I hate. Let me just get this out the way. Unrelated subject. I hate Joey Ryan with a fucking passion. I think he's the dumbest wrestler possibly to ever enter the business ever. Yeah, I'm just gonna flip people with my dick. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Like in general, I thought cocaine was less of a bad idea than Joey Ryan.
that
Then
Michael
that says a
Jackson
lot.
wrestler is less of a bad idea.
Jesus wrestling in the ring was better than Joey Ryan. Did you guys see the Jesus doing the spots in that one indie around Christmas?
No,
It was hilarious. Jesus was in the ring against two jobbers. He's doing double clotheslines, double suplexes, double DDTs.
no, I
No,
saw
no.
God walk out of a tag team match with Shawn Michaels.
But yeah, no, I have no respect for Joey Ryan, and I'm glad he got vilified and kicked out of the business the way he did and fired from his Disney job.
He was trying to be
Wow.
Big Dick Johnson 2.0.
Yeah, now he's little Dick Denny working at Denny's.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah,
Good,
back to the real wrestlers.
good to know that about you, DJ. I'll make sure to not bring Joey up that much because Joey is a dude that I always liked, but that's a whole other story.
I thought he was just the epitome. He's the epitome
But to
of
be
what
fair,
wrestling business shouldn't be.
I was a huge fan of his before he started doing that stuff.
Okay, I can respect you for that. If you were a fan of him just because he was doing the dick
No,
spots,
not at
I'd be
all.
like, JJ, come on.
I was a fan of his when he was still known as the technical wizard, Joey Ryan, and came out with a fucking Jedi cloak.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't see that shit. Oh my god.
But
But
anyway,
again,
so,
back to the
so
real wrestlers.
Giovanni Vinci,
I can see him try maybe go into a smaller promotion. I don't see people going out there asking for him. I think he's more of a type of guy who would have to sit there and look for his dates. I don't see a big clamoring for him like the other names. Other names I could see people saying, "Oh, you're free. I want you. You're free. I want you." Giovanni Vinci.
how much you charging?
Yeah, like how much you want per date? You said what? A grand? Nope, sorry, you getting 500.
Yeah,
Like
especially
that's gonna
since
be a
he
weird thing.
hasn't been on TV lately.
Yeah, no, his value is super depreciated. The last time we saw him on TV, he was getting his ass kicked and doing jobs looking like a Jersey Shore ripoff.
That Italian suit took a big hit in his bank account, probably.
I thought it was Mike the Situation walking out when he was doing his entrance. I'm like, why are they entertaining this? That was probably one of the few actual burials on television WWE has done in the past few years. They went out of their way to make that guy look bad. Like I thought the Roman Reigns dog food thing was bad, and that was like more of an accidental burial. This was purpose. Like the Giovanni Vinci thing will be studied in history as purposeful. This is how you purposely bury a motherfucker.
Yeah, this is the one that I really wasn't surprised about because of all that stuff. Like
No, I'm glad you guys told me.
as soon as I saw the thing about Duke Hudson, because that was just kind of quiet in January. Like there wasn't a whole lot of traction about it until he posted the video on his social media where he interviewed himself. And then the others came out yesterday, and then the ones came out this morning, and it's just like this one doesn't surprise me. This should have been the first one dropped. You know, Giovanni Vinci been like, oh, okay. You
Yeah,
know,
I've seen on Twitter actually no one give a shit about him being
yeah.
released. Like no one's talking about it.
Jeff made the comment earlier, and I 100% agree with him that if you're happy for people being released, then f off because, but like he's the one person that really I kind of nonchalantly cared when I heard about it. It was like, he did it to himself, you know. Trying to pick up your buddy's girl, you did that to yourself.
Yeah, especially your tag team. Like when it's your tag team partner, that's like a different bond. You know what I mean? That's your brother. That's the person you're trusting with your body and your life in the ring. So
He was trying
like
to he was trying to get all rated R like Xavier Woods.
Mhm.
Xavier Woods and Edge, jeez, like he thought he could pull that maneuver, and I'm like now, like I said, now that you guys said that to me, and I never knew that, it makes everything makes 110 more sense to me. Like, and yeah, same to just message. No one should lose their jobs, and I don't advocate for that unless the person is really, really bad at their job. Then maybe they should lose their job because they're bad at it. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Right.
That's the only time I would advocate for it because obviously you're not doing your job correctly. You should go do something else. That's just me being telling you the truth and not just saying you're a terrible piece of shit and you should never get work again. No, just maybe wrestling ain't your thing. You should go do something else. Maybe go acting. I don't know. Maybe Miss Rachel's looking for new people to help her out on her new Netflix show. I don't know, but it I don't think anyone should lose their jobs, but it's a business at the end of the day. Some people are gonna have to lose their jobs sometimes to either cost cuts or make room for other people who deserve that spot. And I think Tony Khan should adopt this only for the fact that he has an overbloated roster and he's paying people to not do anything. And some of those people can actually apply their craft somewhere where they can either A, make money, or B, get the opportunity to make more money.
If Giovanni was 6'4", 215, 220, I can see something going on. But this dude he doesn't have the best of the looks in terms of the wrestling business, and he might not be signed by other people unless it's just indie show after indie show.
Yeah, he's definitely the one person in these releases who's not a commodity.
Yeah, I agree with that. Is there anybody that we haven't really gone in depth about? Because I feel like we've covered everybody now. Cedric Alexander, AOP, Paul Ellering, Good Brothers, Duke,
Blair.
Blair, Giovanni, Sonya, Alba, or excuse me, Isla.
Do
Is
you
there
think?
any we didn't
I was
really
gonna say
cover?
no, but do you think they're done yet? That's the big last question. Do you think they're done yet, or do you think we get a couple more? Because I think with the talent they're getting rid of right now, there could be a couple more. I think the rest of the Pure Fusion Collective might go other than Shayna. Shayna's the only person you can maybe still do something with because she's the UFC badass.
Yeah, but okay. I'm going to catch heat from this, especially if Big G is still in the chat room. But I feel like they've missed the boat on Shayna time and time again. How many times do you try and you push her all the way to the glass ceiling without pushing her through it? You know, Shayna's not getting any younger. She's just getting older. She is arguably the most legit competitor in the entire fucking division. But the opportunity to strap the rocket to her and push her to the moon was when she defeated Ronda Rousey on Ronda's way out. And she was hot for 2 weeks and then she cooled down.
Yeah. No, and as you said that, I just realized something. All the MMA four horsewomen are about to be gone if Shayna goes. There's no
Mm-hmm.
Jessamine Duke. There's no Marina Shafir. There's no Ronda. She's the only one left. I
Yeah.
think, and I think that I don't know. She might be the next one to go. Now that I think about it, because I
And
think
you know,
WWE has seen the end of that experiment.
we talked a little bit ago about Shayna going and working for GCW because the blood sport and everything. If I'm being honest, she's the only other one I would maybe want to see go to AEW because you could link her up with Marina Shafir. You know,
I
granted,
could
I
see
would
Tony
like
doing
to
that.
keep I would like to keep Shayna as far away from the fucking Death Riders as possible, but put her with Marina Shafir, and that could be
And
interesting.
don't forget, Ronda has done some Ring of Honor dates too. You think Tony would reunite the MMA for Four Horsewomen?
Possibly. Go ahead, Walter. You got your hand up.
I think Shayna may be the bigger security that Piper and Chelsea are looking for. You get Shayna to do that and just let her be your bodyguard for a while. Like you can do that for Shayna. Like I just don't want to see her
No,
release.
I
Like
like that. I no, but I really like that though. I
no.
see you shaking
I,
your head, JJ, but I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. I love Chelsea Green, but you cannot look me in the eye and tell me Shayna Baszler would be content playing third wheel to Chelsea Green.
If
Shayna
her
is
other,
way better
oops,
than that.
I think if her other option is being jobless, she'll do it.
No, I think she'd rather go to GCW and do fucking blood sport all the time than be Chelsea's bitch.
It depends on the paycheck. Depends on that paycheck. I think that's kind of what plays a factor in Shayna. If they want her there and they want to keep her there, she'll be there. But if they
Let,
don't want her, I can see her
let,
going. Go ahead,
let
JJ.
me ask you this, DJ. How long has Shayna been in the WWE?
I want to say since 2018.
Do you think she's not already set for life with all those paychecks?
she is.
To
Yes
where
and
she
no.
could just do GCW blood sport events for the rest of her career and be happy?
I get what you're saying, JJ, but if they book it right, let's say she's that bodyguard for a few months. Then the whole time, all she was doing was building herself to get trust, and then it's her that goes after the U.S. title, and you give her that U.S. title run, and you let her be dominant. I mean, I get it. They keep trying to salvage her, and it doesn't work. I totally get it, but you gotta try some. Just keep trying, I guess. I don't know. I just don't want to see her released. I think it's
No,
just
I
for my
agree.
bias
I
of her not
agree.
being released.
No, I agree with you 100%, Walter. I think she could be just because you can't keep her as a main eventer don't doesn't mean you can not push her as a solid mid carder and that be that badass that protects the mid card and helps elevate people you want to get to that higher echelon of being the champion, getting people over. Like if someone beats Shayna, that all right, you're good. That's you're into the club now. So
Yeah, like let her.
I can see you get more use out of that.
Yeah, let her get a few months as the bodyguard, and then she gets that title, and it's like you do the Cena thing, lay the title in the ring, like I dare one of your asses to come get this off of me, and like let her do that. Like,
The Shayna Open Challenge gimmick. Yeah, again, that's but Triple H. You better be listening to this shit. He's giving you gold, guy.
Dude,
He's giving
we've
you
given
gold.
them all kinds of gold and we've never gotten any kind of kickback for it. Damn it.
Well, they need to start taking your ideas because all the ideas they're doing as of late has been. It's actually I lied. That LA Knight promo last night was pretty fucking the entire three way. They actually got me into a three way match, which is very hard to get me into because they're all almost the same.
Yeah.
But that three way between Drew, LA Knight, and Jimmy was really good. It meshed well together. It kept me in.
Drew, um, oops, sorry, especially the Drew LA Knight stuff, and I was really into that match when I rewatched SmackDown this morning. I was vastly impressed,
the
and
beginning
it
promos
got me,
alone.
and the promos too. Yeah, that entire segment was great, and it gave me hope that we're not getting Priest and Drew at Mania. Please give me Drew and LA Knight. I'll take that. I will take that any fucking day.
They used the internet trolling rumors to perfection. Like LA Knight said, "Oh yeah, I got to get my stuff in," because that was the rumor of why McIntyre was pissed. And then McIntyre said, "I was pissed off in the back because you get away with this in Raw." It's like I love how they include it. They don't hide from that stuff anymore.
You should have seen the smirk on Drew. Drew had a similar smirk on his face when Punk hit him with the "Who chose you? Huh? Say his name." Like when Drew gets hit with a shoot comeback and he knows he's gotten, you can see it in his face like, "Oh, you got me, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna get you next time." Oh, that was one of my favorite moments of the night, just watching Drew's facial. Drew has great facial reactions. A lot of people don't notice that, but Drew's facials are possibly some of the best in the business. The way he just reacts to everything.
I'm hoping they kind of make him a Money in the Bank winner and kind of reverse what they did last year. Now it's him that can control it.
I was going to say he is a Money in the Bank winner. He just didn't successfully cash in.
I meant now, again, and do it the right way.
What I actually, quick wish, I want them to do another Money in the Bank match at Mania. Since everyone's cashed in, just do one Money in the Bank match just for the hell of it. Just to make Monday After Raw interesting.
I definitely think Money in the Bank should be moved back to Mania. Do the men's on one night, the women's on the other night.
It'd make more sense. So much more sense.
And that's how you get more people booked on the WrestleMania card, because those matches are always at least 6 deep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it could be the one thing people look forward to every like the Undertaker match. Undertaker for at least 20 years, people looked forward to his every single match because the streak itself was its own attraction. I think the Money in the Bank could be that new yearly attraction that they tried to make the Andre Memorial Battle Royal into. Just have it be the Money in the Bank match and then do a different pay-per-view in July every year. I think it's in July. It's either May or July, one of those 2 months.
No, it's usually July.
Yeah, just take it out of July, do a different pay-per-view. I'm trying to think of a pay-per-view they haven't done in forever. Armageddon. No,
Fully loaded.
Fully loaded. Great Balls of Fire. Fastlane. I don't give a shit. Just give us a different pay-per-view. A non-Saudi pay-per-view, preferably. Since they stole the Rumble from us. Those rich bastards. They stole the Rumble from us. And I'm upset that every woman has to wear scuba suits next year.
Do, 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 do.
Hey.
I don't have the music in this room, so I had to do it myself.
It's okay. I don't mind. As long as you don't use the Kim Possible one, we're good.
Nah. So what is up, Datilla? I saw you yesterday discuss some of these. Obviously, there's been some new ones announced this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We've pretty much gone through everybody, but if you want to give your thoughts on some of the newly announced names.
I mean, in general, releases suck. In general, nobody wants to see anybody lose their job,
Right.
But at the same time, it's kind of like you can't keep everybody. You're going to be in a situation where your roster is really bloated. And if you're not using people, it's better just to let them go than to have them sit at home doing nothing.
Yeah, and to Emmanuel's point in the chat, I brought it up on screen a minute ago. How do we have 6 hours of television and we don't have time to book some of these people?
Yeah, sorry about my dog. Yeah, that is crazy. It's like you would think that they would bring in and out talent,
Mm-hmm. We talked about this a little bit in one of the spaces about rotating the talent in AEW. Why do we have the same talent every week on WWE television? Why can't we rotate? Do a backstage promo with Drew McIntyre this week, and the next week Drew McIntyre gets a match, and the next week LA Knight gets a backstage promo, and then the next week LA Knight gets a match. Like, we can be alternating some of this pre-tapes and vignettes and matches to kind of rotate through people instead of seeing the same 15 people over 3 hours every week. And it gives the talent more time off at home because you could do the pre-tape while they're there for the match to air the following week.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I think it just depends on it, because you got to also remember with the modern wrestling audience, they lose interest quickly, and you got to always keep them captivated at all times. Even if we know with the diehard fans, they're going to watch whatever, but with modern audiences, you have to try to keep their attention. If they don't see one of their favorites one week, with if they see their favorites missing for a week with no explanation or just a backstage promo or something, I think it'll lose interest. I think the in-ring promos, the way WWE is doing it now, is keeping people interested in the stars that they have, like Drew, like Jimmy, not Jimmy, well, Jimmy and Jay now, because Jimmy cut a hell of a promo last night too. Like, I think the in-ring segments and giving people what they basically pay their money to see is more beneficial than doing the backstage promos every, 1 week someone's there, next week they're doing 3 backstage vignettes. That's that's pretty much AEW's model right now. So like, I think it would be more effective to keep these guys on screen and in front of your face week to week, because that's what you're tuning in for. That's what you're paying to see. You're not paying to see someone cut a backstage promo. You want to see them interact with people.
I agree, but I don't feel like you need every talent doing an in-ring promo. If you want to do that with your main talent, that's fine, but there's a lot of talent that could get away with just doing a backstage promo, and kind of saving them for a match every other week or every couple of weeks, as opposed to having them fly in for every single show to not really get used. Shinsuke Nakamura was on SmackDown. He was in the background with the United States title in the shadows. Okay. Why? Why did we need him? Why did we have to pay for him to be there for that?
You're right. No, you're definitely right. I I agree that they could use some of their TV time better, but I just also think they have such an influx of top main event. They have so many main event caliber people on the show right now. Not even just in the main event picture, but just main event caliber. Like any night you could put them on the marquee as the main event and people will pay to see that. And it's hard to sit there and take time away from them when they're bringing in all this interest to try to just give it to someone that we just have there, who may or may not get any interest. They're just trying to, maximize their dollars and their time. Because WWE ain't, I don't believe, at least due to the history with WWE, I don't think they'll have this many stars again. Like this period, I think it's going to be like a good year or two, and then all the stars are going to start fading away and going out. And, we're going to be back to where we were a few years ago.
And that's and that. Oh, sorry, Jay, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was going to say, and that's a good point, because when these stars, they start to get older, they start to like leave or take time off. Who's going to replace them at the same time too?
See, and that's the point I was going to make, because that's a fair assessment, DJ. But how do you garner interest in some of these other talents if they don't get featured? That way, when they get hurt, when they start to leave, when they start to take more time off, you've groomed that next crop.
That's what I think NXT really is for now. I think that's what they're doing with NXT and kind of their mid-card and tag team divisions. Well, not really much to mid-card, because mid-cards is more main eventers now because it's so crowded everywhere. Braun Breaker's the Intercontinental Champion, and, well, Shinsuke we could take off our TV. That point you won't hear me from. Not because I don't like Shinsuke. It's just I don't think at this point in Shinsuke's career, him being the U.S. champion and how they've been booking this run so far, I don't think it's going to play out really to anything. I think he's just a placeholder until they figure out who's getting that title next. And I thought it was going to be Solo, but apparently not.
Well, I kind of hate to say this since everybody knows how big a supporter I am of NXT, but if your point is that NXT is to make the next crop, is NXT succeeding? Because Isla Dawn, Blair Davenport, and Giovanni Vinci were all recent additions to the main roster within the last 2 to 3 years. Duke Hudson, Good Brothers, Cedric Alexander were all in NXT at the times of their releases. So
My counter argument would that be is the transition. A lot of those guys were transitioning from NXT 2.0 to the main roster. Those were Vince call ups still, even though Triple H might have brought one or two of them, like Blair Davenport. That was more like a Triple H call up. But I think with the NXT 2.0 thing, Triple H lost a lot of power and a lot of his vision in making some of those stars, and he was just trying to see what he can work with when he was bringing people up. I think with this crop that Shawn Michaels and him are working with right now, especially with on the women's side, those stars are made. When any of those NXT women come up, they are going to be instantly stars and instantly a viable player in the division. I think the men is where they need to work on a lot more. I think Shawn Michaels has done not the best job with the NXT men's division, and I've been a constant component of that. I think he put too many chips in just Trick and Oba, and Fraxium is just now starting to get over to the extent that they should be as tag team champions, because every time you think they're going to lose it, they don't. That's their gimmick. They prove everyone wrong. So Fraxium, I think, is getting over. But outside of them, who's really an up-and-coming prospect in the NXT men's division right now? No one. They have to work harder on building those men up. That's the issue they have. And with the women, they're set for the next 10 years. If all those women stay healthy and don't get in any trouble. You got Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Julia, Zarya, Stephanie,
Mamacita.
Cora, Mama, you know what I mean? Roxanne, Sol Ruka. Like, there are names. The Chemical X, the new faction with Shotzi, Gigi, and what's her name? Tatum Paxley. Like, all those women right now can be inserted on that roster and instantly be a main player for the next 5 to 10 years. All of them. They all have bright futures. That the women are set. I just think the men I think we should worry about. That you're right to worry about the men, and I think we should, but we'll see in a few years.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared to see what happens to Chemical X, because what I'm hearing through the grapevine is that Shotzi is probably going to be brought back to the main roster with this new draft. They just kind of brought her down there to make sure she wasn't going to go get another injury after bringing her back. So she's more than likely coming back to the main roster. What's that going to do to Gigi and Tatum?
I think Gigi's going to get a call up too soon. She's been in NXT for what, 3 years now?
Something like that.
But
in all fairness, Gigi and JC both were best when they were a tag team. Ever since Toxic Attraction broke up, like, they've been floundering. JC is finding her footing a little bit in Fatal Influence, which is basically Toxic Attraction 2.0. But what's going to happen when Fallon moves on? You know, is JC going to find her way back to Gigi? Like, that's when they were the best. They just don't seem to have singles potential, those two.
You don't think they're going to bring Tatum Paxley up? Didn't they tease something earlier this year with her and Lyra? With her hiding in Lyra's suitcase?
I think Tatum would get lost in the shuffle. I think it would be just like Blair Davenport, just like Isla Dawn.
You're right. I can see that. I was just
unless they brought Chemical X up as a unit, maybe. But I don't know.
Like I said, the only reason I can see them bringing them up as a unit, because Gigi's been there for a while. They do want to bring Shotzi back up at some point because they know she can be a draw. And Tatum is just kind of a part of the package deal. Like, it's kind of like the whole when Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky came up, and then Paige had her own faction too.
Mm-hmm.
But they were on separate shows. I can see that being a whole new thing, because there aren't really any real women's factions. I mean, Jade, Naomi, and Bianca kind of, but they're not really a faction. They're just all friends.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they are called the Big Three, so at least they have a name.
But I mean, like, as an established women faction, they don't have any up there right now in WWE at all. I can see them bringing both of those groups up to kind of set that trend.
Emmanuel isn't wrong there.
Damn.
Just because you're not willing to work Tuesdays, Datilla, don't mean you got to shit on it. More casual fans don't see NXT. That's facts. But let's be honest, more people still watch NXT than TNA.
And for the past week's AEW.
So let's not take those little shots, Datilla. I'm just saying. We both have the companies and the shows that we love watching. But if we want to get technical, shit, more people watch NXT than TNA, Impact, and Dynamite combined.
I wonder how things would go if TNA was on a channel that everybody got, though. That would be interesting.
Fair. I've been asking that for a while because I feel like TNA is the hottest it's been in a long time. And if more people were able to see it, that would be a very interesting thing to see.
We may find out soon because that's probably what this deal is going to end up doing is get them on some kind of channel.
I do give your TNA that credit because they are better than they've been in a long time. And if more people could see it, it would be a different story.
I'm shocked that TNA didn't get Tubi. I thought that's what WWE was going to help them with, the Tubi deal. But no, WWE said, nah, fuck that. We want to still fuck with AEW as much as possible. We're just going to throw a show on Wednesdays for no reason. Like, I always thought that they were going to use TNA as like a proxy in the war with AEW now and not try to directly mess with them anymore and be like, yo, we can help you get this Wednesday time slot.
Maybe they still will. I mean, I don't think as many people are going to tune into Evolve as tune into NXT, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. If they come out with like 500K on Tubi, that's going to be something to look at.
Yeah.
Maybe the first couple of weeks because it's something new, they'll get high numbers, but then it'll drastically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But even if they get that high number just for the first week, even if it's the debut, it's still worrying. A brand new WWE show with a bunch of indie developmental talent just came in and did 500, 600K their first show while AEW's floundering at 600. Not a good look, Tony.
Not a good look, but it also shows that there's another 600,000 people that are wrestling fans that can watch TV on a Wednesday that just aren't watching your product.
And I also want to see how bad the show messes with AEW numbers. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want like how many people they start off with now that there is a WWE branded show on Wednesdays. And it's going to be, like I said, it's really interesting because I thought they were going to do the whole proxy war thing. Not, okay, you can't even beat our third brand now. We're going to make a fourth brand to compete with you. And it's not even fully us. Booker T is booking this stuff. So if you're not a better booker than Booker T.
Hey, I've been keeping an eye on his reality of wrestling stuff. And I haven't like actually watched a product, but I've been kind of following shit a little bit. Booker's got a better mind than people give him credit for. He may not be a great commentator, but he's got a good mind.
He has an eye for talent. I will give him that. He has an eye for talent. He's the one who brought Jacob up. He's the one who was telling WWE for years that they should have brought Jacob up to the main roster because Jacob was that good. Him and his brother.
Yep, and he's also had a hand in Roxanne. So
yeah, that's where Roxanne got some of her first reps, and he trained her. He's been doing stuff with Trick too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are certain people under Booker T has an eye for talent. I think he would be he's a great talent scout. I think that is his role, to go out there and tell Triple H who should he look at and who he should be signing soon. I think that's the perfect role for Booker T. As like a booker and knowing how to put people in the best positions possible for them to succeed and getting someone over. I don't think that's the best way to show his talents. I don't think that's the best of his talents. That's all I'll say. But
yeah, man.
But in terms of finding the talent and knowing who you can push in the future or who has star potential, he's great at that. Better than Bruce Pritchard.
Fair enough. Feel like we kind of got lost on a side tangent there.
Again,
It happens. It's all good. Going back to Datilla, as far as the names that came out today, were there anybody that you really wanted to address? Because I didn't hear you really address anybody.
I feel like I was surprised to see Isla Dawn go, especially not up and without Alba Fire. But I think she's a great talent that just wasn't given enough time to shine. I definitely would think she'd make a great knockout. Giovanni Vinci, after he lost to Apollo Crews in 5 seconds, I think it was kind of over for him. And the Good Brothers, I'm not the biggest Good Brothers fan. I never have been. I don't know where they go from here. Maybe back to New Japan. But I will say it was a missed opportunity with the Good Brothers because you had AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Shinsuke. You could have, even Cody Rhodes. You could have had them all interact, maybe do something there with that. But they just never pulled the trigger on that. So this is the second time they get released. And they got released again.
Yeah, I think it's a damn shame they didn't try to do an actual Bullet Club thing, especially when Tama Tonga and Tongaloa came up, Gorillas of Destiny. Have the GOD, have the Good Brothers, have AJ, have Balor. And maybe just leave it at that because Cody is champion doing his own thing. He could have always come in later, but just have those 6 as your contingent and see if you could talk to New Japan about getting the rights for the Bullet Club logo and just fucking run with that shit. You want something that could have seriously rivaled the Bloodline for a War Games match, Bullet Club versus the Bloodline.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they never did that. They teased it a couple of times with Balor, AJ Styles, and the Good Brothers. It just never amounted to anything. But if one thing we have learned over the last couple of years is that there is life outside of WWE. People go, they build up their stock, and they may or may not come back. But it's not the end of the road for some people unless they choose to make it the end of the road for themselves. But I think everyone's going to be fine. And this is why I don't understand why I get that, most people don't like AEW, but you shouldn't wish it to fail. Wrestlers need alternatives. They need other places to work. So I think everybody's going to be okay.
Yeah, to my knowledge, nobody really wants AEW to fail. They just want them to get their shit together. And a point I made in the spaces a while back, and it's actually kind of what got a lot of the controversy that got going started, was I said that sometimes a company has to completely fall in order for it to be restructured and rebuilt from the ground up. And unfortunately, AEW has had so many problems that it seems like it just needs to be like a hotel in Vegas and be imploded so that it can be rebuilt. Go ahead.
To your point, I guess TNA is a good example of that. I mean, TNA almost, I guess you can say almost went out of business had it not been for Anthem, but it literally took them years for them to restructure and undo all the damage that Dixie Carter did to where they are now.
I just want to say, JJ, you're so condescending when you say bad things about AEW. How dare you?
Shut up, DJ. No, but now that Datilla's on the show and her being one of the primary TNA people, and since her co-host / producer man last night was horrible when it comes to the comments.
I told him he's a Padawan again.
I heard. He brought my comment up for like 30, less than 30 seconds and took it right down. So I want to get your thought on something I mentioned last night. I feel like TNA is now a more desirable option for people than it ever has been in the past because of the partnership that they have with WWE and TNA. Any of these talents that go to TNA, whether it's the Good Brothers going back to the tag division or AOP, whether it's Isla Dawn or Blair Davenport or Sonya Deville going to the Knockouts division, whatever, it gives them an opportunity to kind of reinvent themselves like Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance has done. And then maybe there can be a way for them to come back home to WWE since there's this partnership. Because WWE is going to have eyes on the TNA product to see who they want to bring to NXT, who they want to have in the Royal Rumble. There's talk and gossip going around. And granted, it was posted by a bullshit page, but kind of posed the what if. What if Jey Uso throws everybody for a swerve and challenges Joe Hendry at WrestleMania? Could you just imagine the two entrances those guys would have in WrestleMania? Seriously, forget about the match for a second. But working with TNA kind of gives them the opportunity, like, hey, if we go here, if we can get ourselves over, if we can rebuild ourselves, maybe we can come back home.
I will say one thing that TNA does really well is that they play to the strengths of the talent. And I've said this before, and I will keep saying it. Take Top Dollar AJ Francis. I didn't give two shits about Top Dollar. And when he came to TNA, I was like, really? Of all people, him? But TNA did such a great job showcasing him as AJ Francis that I actually think he's amazing now.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, he's an asshole. He dodged me on my interview yesterday. I'm pissed at him.
Yeah, DJ was actually supposed to interview him on one of the X Spaces yesterday, and he canceled at the last minute. So AJ Francis is a little bit of a touchy subject for him, but I completely get
he's
where
gonna
you're coming
reschedule.
from.
I was just kidding. I don't want him to really think I'm mad at him.
He doesn't want no smoke with AJ, but I completely agree with you because I've been defending AJ Francis to Noah for a minute. Like, yeah, he came in with the flop dollar stigma, and then Joe Hendry doing the Cheez-It Championship thing with him, didn't help matters. But AJ's having one of the best runs of his career.
Not to mention, AJ Francis doesn't get the credit for helping Joe Hendry get over. If it wasn't for Joe Hendry's feud with First Class and him making that apology video, that apology song to AJ Francis, who's to say Joe Hendry doesn't go viral?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I feel like AJ and Casey Navarro work better than he and Rich Swann did. I almost feel like Rich Swann was there to help elevate AJ, where AJ and KC are kind of elevating each other. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And then another example, look at Xia Li Ying Li, and with one match, they made her such a badass.
Mm-hmm. And now all these people have the opportunity to come back to WWE because of the partnership. Even if it is just going to NXT, it's still the possibility. Look at the pop Fandango got. I guess DJ had to dip. Oh, yeah. But look at the response that JDC got as Fandango when he returned on Tuesday. I don't know if you saw it. You don't watch Tuesday nights, but...
I heard.
Did you at least see the clip?
I didn't see the clip, but I saw a picture of it.
Go to the X and at least watch the clip of him coming out. That crowd was into it. They were loving it, and he was appreciative of it. He even talked about how much that music meant to him before going on to reintroduce himself as JDC representing the system. And I told a bunch of people, I think if he had come out as the system music, he wouldn't have got that reaction. Because one, the music represents 5 people. So who's coming out? Oh, the system music's in. We're gonna get Moose. We're gonna get Brian Myers. We're gonna get Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards. Oh, we got JDC. That type of thing. Whereas hitting that music, everybody knows that music. Everybody loves the Fandango music. So he got that huge pop. Then comes out, says, "Hey, I'm JDC. I represent the system from TNA." So now next week when he comes out with that system music, people know who it is, and they don't get all excited for one of 4 other people and like, oh, it's JDC. It'll be like the NWO music hitting, and out comes Vincent instead of Hogan or Nash or Hall. It's Virgil, whatever, But it was a moment. You got to go back and watch that. It was awesome.
All right. I'll go watch.
At least do me that favor. The whole segment with him and Lexus Keane was really good. The back and forth.
Yep. And the rule change.
All right. Oh, I'll go back.
I mean, it's Saturday. You got free time. It's not Tuesday.
Sure, I'm here.
And he even poked fun of his beard. He said, "You freaking painted your beard on." And he was like, "It's spray paint." Like they even did little, like it's hilarious.
Okay. So.
But I mean, do you agree that TNA now seems like a more desirable option than it has in the past?
I do think they seem like a more desirable option, especially with that partnership. It's probably an enticement for some people to consider TNA as an option.
Yeah, whereas more people would have probably just thought, oh, well, AEW's got the bigger pocketbook. That's where I want to go, like going to WCW. With TNA in this partnership, they know like, hey, okay, maybe I'll get a little bit less money, but if WWE wants me back, it's a little bit more of a pleasant way to get in as opposed to burning a bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely do think that the partnership will probably be here for. I hope it lasts for a good while, and it's not just because it said, I know when they said the press release, there wasn't an exact number. It said multi-year. That could mean 3 years. That could mean 5 years. But hopefully this partnership continues.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I've been enjoying the partnership.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just hoping the merger means they get to use themes and stuff, because damn it, I'm not gonna give up. I need AJ Styles with his old theme, man. His TNA theme.
I am kind of curious, like why WWE doesn't send the talent that they're not using, like, instead of releasing them. Why don't they send them to like TNA or something instead of outright releasing them?
I said that earlier, that it could be a backdoor way of doing it, like get them off of the WWE payroll and booking, but TNA signs them and they can kind of backdoor their way back through NXT and through the merger. But with on TNA's dime, WWE still can shine these people on their TV.
Because they have Explosion, and one of my biggest complaints about Explosion is that they don't really utilize it. Yeah, you get one match. Sometimes I like it when it's 2 matches. You get around the ring, but you could do so much more with Explosion. I've always said they could do so much more with Explosion. Like, they could showcase a lot of talent out there that, maybe talent that's not ready for TV, or talent, or, from NXT or from the indies. And they could do so much with Explosion. That could be TNA's second show, but they're just not investing time in it. Maybe instead of releasing wrestlers, you can send them over TNA. Not saying you have to put them on Explosion, but kind of help do something with Explosion.
I agree. That was one of my big things against TNA is like when I was reviewing it on a consistent basis, I would watch Explosion every week. And it's like 1, maybe 2 matches. Like, y'all got an hour. There's no reason why you can't get 3 matches on this show. 3 10-minute matches. It's 30 minutes. do the around the ring segment that kills about 5 or so, and then the rest of the show can be, video packages, commercials, whatever. But there's no reason why they couldn't give more matches.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, like that could be the NXT&A show.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but I've been watching Explosion because I don't even know if there's a new one. Because I know the last ones have been kind of recaps, like never before seen matches.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like that's always just been my biggest gripe with Explosion. It's like they could do so much more with it, and they haven't yet.
I agree.
So
We went through this whole conversation, and she's still gonna take Tuesdays off after all this shit.
Of course. I expect nothing less from her at this point.
I need a day to myself, during the week.
I don't know, but that's on you. Wednesdays are quickly becoming my days off, but that's until Evolve starts.
Well, okay. I don't know. Me, it's because if I can't watch NXT live, I would have to wait till Wednesday to watch it on the app. I already watched Dynamite, and then I go back and I watch what I miss, and then I watch another hour something minutes without. I'm assuming it's like an hour and 30 without the commercials.
Yeah.
I'm doubting myself.
Mm-hmm.
He says I'm stuttering. Yeah. So.
See, she's like Walter. She reads typos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've given up trying to push you on it, but it's like you can't sit here and tell me that Dynamite has been like entertaining for you to watch every week.
It has not actually. This past week was actually a pretty decent episode, I will say. But prior to that, it felt like watching Raw from like 2019.
See, so it's like NXT where TNA people are showing up, or Dynamite.
They don't show up every week.
JDC will be on this coming week, challenging for the Heritage Cup. So gives you an excuse.
We'll see. We shall see. I don't have cable anymore, and Sling does not carry the CW.
I know. Trust me. That's why I have the app. I'm just like you. I have to watch it the next day. I can't even watch my NXT live anymore. I have to watch it the next day. I have to worry about Walter spoiling shit for me. Messaging me while it's on. Are you watching right now? No, it's not on Sling. Here, try this link.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do one of those unless it's a watch along.
At least I ask and don't just straight up spoil it. I'm like, I mean, like, are you watching? And then I'm like, all right, never mind, can't say it.
So we'll see. But if I ever do watch NXT Weekly, trust me, JJ, you'll be the first to know.
I better be. I better be.
Vengeance Day is next Friday, right? It's this Friday, I should say.
What?
Vengeance Day is this Friday?
Next Saturday.
Isn't it on Valentine's Day?
No, it's a week from today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's the same day as Grand Slam Australia.
Oh, okay.
I just wish NXT picked a damn channel that's on Sling. Like, what the fuck? Like, why you gotta go to CW?
Because CW is like a TV channel.
I know. I just wish, like, maybe the USA SmackDown deal would have been SmackDown and NXT both on USA. Like, give me something I can watch live.
No, it's all good. I'm enjoying the CW. I just hate that I have to see it the next day. It is what it is. But if there's nothing else to add about the release talents, then we'll go ahead and wrap this up because we do have a watch along later on this evening for the MLW Super Fight 6. That begins at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. We'll be on the air doing our pre-show of that, talking about the matches. And then, of course, Saturday will be live as soon as that goes off the air. So probably in the vicinity of 8:30, 9 o'clock Pacific, so 11:30 midnight Eastern, with our TV theme karaoke. Make sure you guys all tune in for that. Thank you all for joining us for this 2-hour conversation about the release talents. We greatly appreciate you guys joining and tuning in. And we will catch you guys in a little bit for our other presentations. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.